Hello and welcome to T for Retrospective, where we retrospectively look back at TV. I'm Cara,
I'm Damon.
and today we're looking at The Simpsons Season 3!
Whee!
Woo!
We're getting there.
We're getting through it!
We're getting there. This season was really good.
This season was really good, but also the fun little thing of I watched it a bit ago and then just kind of gave up on watching the audio commentaries because I was like, hey, maybe watching 40 episodes. I was watching less, but still, like, maybe watching 35 episodes is a bit fucking much. Especially when I was getting around to this season, which was like, no, I really do kind of want to watch all of them, and I didn't. I watched like 5. But
And I watched all the audio commentary.
yeah, it'll be interesting when we get to the next lot of these episodes, and I'm like, let's do it again, and then I'm like, I give up.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's jump into it because these episodes go on for fucking forever, and we need to talk about
Yeah.
Simpsons.
Yeah. I've got some pre-episode notes here.
Oh shit!
One
All
of
right.
them, I totally forgot about these because these notes were started ages ago. The first one is along the lines of like, first off, I've started new anti-anxiety medication, so I'm a bit drowsy and tired, so these notes will be a bit goobly glop for a bit, and they are.
Oh, fun.
I was kind of all over the place when watching this season, but I think it added to the experience.
Yeah. You know what? That's nice. That's good.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Cool. So, with that out of the way and knowing where your notes are
Yeah.
sitting, I was watching this in, I guess, September through November, watching the season. So I probably remember some things really well and some things fuck all.
Yeah, I think you started a little bit earlier than I did.
Yeah, but then I also had a big break through October because that's the month of Halloween.
That's
And
true,
because
yeah.
I think I was watching episode 16 when you were helping me out with my cosplay for con. So, because
We
we
kind
watched,
of just were watching not random episodes, but
I
we were
was
watching some of them
watching
together.
episodes in order, but yes, we did, and I got to watch a few with my dad, which was nice.
Aw, hell yeah.
Because I was over there and I was like, I should put something on the TV, and I'm like, I know, and we watched some episodes. He's like, yeah, The Simpsons is pretty good, and I'm like, it is pretty good, isn't it?
Nice.
Anyway, episode 1, Stark Raving Dad.
Yeah.
So for those who are following along with Disney Plus, you can't watch this episode. You have to go and buy the DVD.
Yeah, so I remember my family and I, we have the original box set of this season from when they were originally released. And out of that entire season, the first disc is very scratched up, definitely caused by me. So that caused me like quite a bit back to just go out and buy a newer version of this season, just so that I could have a reliable way
Was
to
that off
watch
of my
Stark Raving
recommendation?
Dad.
Was that off of my recommendation?
I think it may have been.
Because
yeah.
I bought it being like, hey, this is kind of important to have because it's technically going to be lost media. Like,
Yeah.
if not preserved, this will be lost. So,
Yeah.
probably should have a copy. I did not like the texture of the DVD case for the new one.
God, I don't remember. I
It-
do
it
remember
feels
it being a little
sticky,
bit
and I
weird.
don't know why.
Sticky. Is it because it's like a shiny, like glossy
Yeah,
case?
it is, but it has like a stick to it. But it like you put your hand off, it's not sticky. It's not sticky at all. But it feels like it does, and that's awful.
I get what you mean. Yeah, it's like deceptive.
Yeah, I didn't like it. Anyway, Stark Raving Dad is a pretty decent episode.
I really enjoyed it.
Not as good as I remember it being though, which is funky.
My opinion hasn't really changed all that much on it because like I've watched this episode a lot as a kid. I think and that's because of the music. I like the music episodes a lot.
Yeah, no, the thing I remember really fondly is the song at the end where they sing the Lisa. I'm like, no, that was really nice. And
Oh,
like
yeah,
the
that
few
song's
twists and
been-
stuff.
That song's been in my head since I first watched this episode. Like once it's in my ears, it's not going away for a good year or so.
Yeah, it's really good and it's really nice. Anyway, the episode Homer wears pink to work because Bart washes his red hat in the washing with all the white stuff, Homer goes in and they think he's insane for wearing pink. So they give him a test, which Homer just gives to Bart to fill out because Marge said no. Bart fills it out, and like he's genuinely trying, but he's also a bit like, whatever. Like, he doesn't realize the stakes, but he does ask his dad question. He's like, hey, Homer, are you quick to anger? And he's like, something happens. Like, all right, I guess I'd say yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Like,
there's some good stuff in it.
It's another Lisa sad episode, which is fun. This is one of the episodes where Lisa has a birthday, so she turns 8. This is the first time she would turn 8 years old. Even though I'm pretty sure it was 8 in the previous episodes. This audio commentary was fucking stacked.
Oh yeah,
it had like 10 people in it.
Yeah, the two notes I have on the audio commentary is like they're both on Julie Kavner. Because it's like apparent because she said it's one of her favorite episodes, and also like just a quote from her in reference to Homer going to the mental asylum is that like you're crazy if you're not a conformist. So like that's a good line. I will say that this entire season's audio commentary is actually like really fun. It feels like they were kind of like a bit more used to it now, and like they were just having a lot of fun just watching these episodes and explaining all the stuff behind the scenes.
So you're telling me the one I skipped out on was the one that was good. Fuck.
Yeah, because season 1 and 2, it's like it feels like they're not quite used to it, which is understandable, and it's also like it is also season 1 and 2, so there's only really so much you could say about those. But season 3 does feel a lot more, like, fun for them to explain. Especially because in quite a few of these episodes, they do get some of the cast members in them, and, like, quite a few episodes as well, actually.
Well, that's nice. That would be good to listen to, I guess. But yeah, no, this episode is the Michael Jackson episode. Where Michael Jackson plays uncredited role of Michael Jackson, which is a big white guy who is just in an insane asylum, who is just like, he's just volunteering, he's just hanging out,
he's just kind of there.
Yeah, no, like, that's fun. The dancing was really well animated. That was cool to see.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's real fun. That's cool.
Yeah.
The only other note I really have is that, like, I have one note of, like, apparently the sound alike did the music and Michael Jackson did the actual speaking parts. That was what the audio commentary was saying.
I do remember them saying that. Yeah, that's like a pretty common thing I hear about in like musical celebrities guest starring and stuff. It's like a lot of them have contracts saying that they can't sing in cameos, so they get sound-alikes to do that, and then they just do the actual voice acting.
It's crazy.
Yeah, same thing in Hell of a Boss.
I know, but it's still crazy. Yeah, that's still crazy. Especially, the industry has a hold on people, which does feel absurd. Anyway, my favorite line from this episode was the Marge chatting to the guy running the asylum. It's like, if you chat to Homer for 5 minutes without mentioning Bart, you mean there really is a Bart? Dear God!
I love that line so much.
Fuck, it was funny.
And like that's all it takes for them to be like, okay, you're fine, you're not insane.
But yeah, no. So this episode, the Simpsons crew, they removed it from streaming services in with more information coming out about what Michael Jackson's deal and his stuff and whatever's going on. In around 2019, they're like, let's just remove it from syndication and streaming services.
I remember also part of the reason that like the crew themselves removed it was that like they felt a bit like, in their words, they felt a bit used by Michael Jackson, and they went on to say a bit more about like stuff like how he was acting and stuff he was saying. And even actually in this episode's commentary, apparently Michael Jackson was really adamant about having specifically a song with Bart himself, which in retrospect feels a bit funky.
Yeah, it's one of those things of like, because I did a whole English assessment in this in high school.
I think you've told me about
I
that
have,
before,
yeah, because like it's complicated, and because obviously it's a very multi-layered issue. This is very
Yeah.
intense to start with.
It's complicated and not really anything that we can properly cover in
No,
like a
absolutely
season-wide
not.
retrospective.
In just it's look, we'd have to. It's a lot. It's a big thing. I think it's important to preserve history, and I in my English assessment I pitched, rather than removing it, you put a footnote at the beginning of the episode, or you do
Yeah.
the thing that Whoopi Goldberg did with the '90s and Looney Tunes of being like, hey, so this cartoon is pretty racist, but we're not going to delete it from history because it was a thing that happened. So just be aware when you are watching this cartoon that this is like not okay, but we wanted to show that it's not okay so we don't repeat the same mistakes. Like the general
Yeah.
idea behind that I would have liked for something like this, but you know, I'm not going to fault them.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah,
it's also a thing of like Michael Jackson is dead, so
Oh,
there's not
yeah.
really an easy way to prove that he that
it's
anything
complicated.
happened
It's
anyway.
a very, and even then, even if he was still alive, it still would have been a nightmare of everything.
Absolutely.
Like, but
We're just like outsiders. We don't know anything about this. Like,
yeah.
in reality, so we're just like, I don't know. We're watching a show here.
Anyway, it's gonna be very funny. Where it's like, well, you know, that was a pretty heavy, like, yeah, nice episode. Feels a bit yuck in some places, but that's only because of later contexts. You know, little things like that. But yeah, you know, we'll move on to a nice episode next one. Lisa goes to Washington.
It's like, fuck.
So this is the first Lisa America Bad episode, which thank goodness.
I really like this episode.
It's really good.
One of my right off the bat. What? Oh, hang on. We should actually probably summarize what the episode is first before I tell jokes.
While reading a copy of Reader's Digest, Homer finds Homer finds an entry for an essay contest, which Lisa signs up for. When she wins the contest, she and her family travel to Washington, D.C., where the finals are being held here. Lisa bears witness to a seedy underbelly of politics and becomes bitterly disappointed after learning of bribery scandal involving Springfield State congressman. In her final essay, she disdains and contemns the government systems which lead to the arrest of the corporate congressman. While she fails to win the contest, her faith in the government is restored.
Which is interesting because I didn't quite read it as like her faith is restored.
Yeah, so this is so for fun little fact. So this is what Wikipedia said in the episode description. I don't know if you could tell, but I didn't write that. And I'm great at reading. So
You're very good at reading.
I think. Again, I do disagree. I wouldn't say her faith in government is restored, but the implication, but the end of the episode did kind of imply that it is a lot more restored than not.
Yeah, it's like, to me, it kind of like felt like putting a band-aid over like a stab wound. You know?
Yeah, no, it's a thing of like. I think it was just the time, and it's nowadays years of difference. It's like 30 years difference of like between a thing now. Again, 30 years of things have happened. A lot has changed. Yeah. But no, with that, like the faith in government restored. It's like I get it, but I'm glad we still did an episode about how fuck America, you know? That's nice.
Yeah.
That's a good episode to have. That's cool.
Yeah.
First appearance of a current president. That was also a thing to note.
Yeah.
Which I think was George W. The first one. The first George Bush. That was the president at the time. Again, it's been a minute since I've watched this episode, but no, this is a great episode.
Like
I really liked it.
Yeah, well, like one of my favorite jokes is like, because Lisa's like such a good writer, one of the judges is like, it can't possibly be an 8-year-old. We'll have to ask the dad. And like, she goes up to Homer and is like, Mr. Simpson, are you a professional writer? And he's like, mm-mm. Are you interested in government or politics? Mm-mm. Are you interested in anything? Mm-mm. Can you touch your nose for me? And That bit in particular sticks out to me quite a lot.
No, that's good.
And like it just like even it is like a slightly more serious episode as well, but
Yeah.
like man, it's like the serious moments as well are so well done.
It's really well handled. Oh,
Like the scene where Lisa witnesses the bribe, it's like, oh man,
It's
like,
a hard
you
scene.
you can really like feel that kind of betrayal, I guess, because she's 8 years old as well, and she's witnessing a bribe while they're also objectifying like a statue of I don't remember what her name is, but
Oh,
it's a statue of a woman.
yeah, no, she goes there for like the only statue of a woman to like sit there and just like take it in.
Yeah.
But then like, sees that happen, it's like, oh god, that is awful. And then what was it? She goes to the Abraham Lincoln thing to be like, hey, like,
Yeah.
but a lot of people are there being like, oh, well George Washington, do you help
Everyone's asking for
Abraham
advice.
Lincoln, you could do this, Abraham Lincoln, you could do that, and then he goes to, was it Benjamin Franklin's one? And he's like, oh,
No,
what?
it was Thomas Jefferson.
Thomas Jefferson, yeah. Fuck.
He's like he's all alone, and then like I fucking love like the little sequence of like he starts talking and he's like complaining about how no one comes to see him.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
One of my favorite bits of the episode, and it's just because I'm a sucker for this thing, of when Lisa starts doing her speech about like fuck America, Bart being like, oh, this rules, wait, this is great,
Yeah.
oh my god, this is amazing, and him being 100% supportive. That's really nice.
Oh, it's so good.
It's lovely.
I love that so much.
But I was like, this is way better. I love this
Yeah.
speech. But yeah, no, good episode.
Like yeah, commentary as well. Like so yeah, in the commentary, especially this season, the animation gets talked about a lot, and that's because by this point it's been like 15 years since they've seen these episodes. They've moved on to digital animation by now, so they're looking back at these, and it's like they're looking back on cell animation. They're not doing it anymore, and in particular, they talk about like the old techniques that they use, and I've got. There's one note in here, and it's like during the scene where it's the fantasy sequence where Lisa is basically seeing all the politicians around her as like fat cats and pigs and stuff like that. And they're done in like a particular style with the cross-hatching, and I don't remember exactly where it originates from, but like if you know what it is, you know what it is, you know? But yeah, well, one of them, I think it must have been a cast member that asked like, is the cross-hatching easier to animate now that it's digital? And like one of the animators on board is like, no, it sounds so sad as well.
oh, fuck.
It's like, no.
Yeah. I don't have any other notes for that episode. It's a good episode. We are 20 minutes in. We've covered 2 episodes again.
Well, there.
Anyway.
2-hour episode.
Oh
Let's
no!
go.
Hour and a half. Episode 3, When Flanders Failed.
Yeah, this is a funky episode.
Yeah, Homer sucks in this episode. Like, I get
awful.
it, but I'm like, it's not fun. As a kid,
Yeah.
I like the idea of Flanders doing a thing, but it's just not fun. At least Homer comes out in the end, and it works out fine. Nice to see a bunch of people who canonically become left-handed for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
Because I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Moe stays left-handed since.
Yeah.
And same with Mr.
I think
Burns.
a lot of them are drawn left-handed because, like, I could be misremembering here. I think it's because Matt Groening's left-handed, potentially.
And wasn't the thing, because I watched the audio commentary for it, but it's been a fucking minute. Wasn't the Flanders, like, the left-handed store actually, wasn't that, like, a real thing? One of the guys tried to...
Yeah, no, that was based off of someone else's, like, idea for a store. But
Yeah.
unlike Flanders, it didn't work.
Yeah, which is sad, but it's...
Just really tragic.
nice it got to live on some way in a fucked episode, but, you know.
Yeah.
Also,
So
You go.
So if anyone who's seen this episode notices that compared to all the other episodes this season that the visuals just look a bit off, a little bit too close to season 2, that's because this was done by a different animation studio who, like, as far as I could tell, hasn't worked on The Simpsons before, so it just doesn't quite look right, and the team behind it were very unhappy about that.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Like, fair
And
enough.
it was apparently like just had a like similar issues with like the first season. It came back with a bunch of mistakes and stuff like that, and it must have gotten pushed back a lot before it actually got released.
Yeah, I also, sort of side thing, my only other note, apart from, like, Homer sucks in this episode, was I never, as a kid, I only remember the psychologist guy in season 1. So to see him keep reappearing still in yeah. To keep still appearing in season 3 and being like, he's such an old design, what are you doing here?
Yeah, he doesn't last long though.
Longer than I was expecting.
Longer than you would think, but still like, yeah. You're here for a good bit.
Then we have, if you had no other notes, episode 4, Bart the Murderer. This is a fucking great episode.
I love this episode.
This episode is so good. Genuinely, I'm like, no, if I was to show people a select few episodes from, like, seasons, or, like, here's some good Simpsons episodes, this might be one of them.
Yeah, so this is the episode where Bart has, like, a very bad, no good day, and, like, by the end of the day, he comes across the Springfield mobsters, which are some of my favorite characters.
This is, like, their first proper introduction as well.
Oh, yeah, it's their first actual introduction. So, like, he ends up getting a job there because he can make, like, a drink surprisingly well. And he just starts working there. Like, they basically do favors for him. They protect him and stuff like that. And eventually, like, he gets in trouble with Principal Skinner, and he goes back, he complains to them, and something happens, and, like, suddenly Principal Skinner is missing. And, like, basically Bart thinks that the mobsters have killed him, essentially, but spoiler alert, they did it. He just got trapped underneath, like, a shit ton of boxes.
Yeah, but the thing of Bart, because Bart's blamed for the murder, they go to court and all of, like, Fat Tony and his crew are like, oh, Bart did it, he's a maniac.
Yeah.
And the only reason he wasn't sent to prison was because Principal Skinner burst into the doors being like, I'm alive, don't worry.
Yeah, no, it's an actual, like, full court thing.
Yeah. Also, I have so many quotes from this fucking episode.
I have a lot of stuff from the commentary, actually.
Yeah, so, because, like, one of my favorite bits was, because Bart rocks up late. Was it because he missed the bus? And it starts,
he misses the bus.
Yeah, he misses the bus, and it starts pouring with rain. And he gets in, and then, like, there's, like, Mrs. Krabappel's like...
hours later.
No, Mrs. Krabappel's like, Bart, you're late, you have to go to the principal's office. Like, what? I'm only 5, 10, 20, 40 minutes late. Yeah, no, fair enough. It's like, wow, It's like, oh, wow, I'm pretty late. Like, this, like, Bart made this quite... Like, oh, no, that's actually quite reasonable. Never mind. I'll go to the principal's office. That's fair enough. Then... just little things like me being like, poor Bart, and then the fucking, like, Bart's face and all the guns get pointed at him. Fucking hilarious.
Oh,
Stella.
But before that, I think, like, they actually have, an excursion to the chocolate factory, but he left his permission slip at home as well, so that it's even more very bad, no good. So he's stuck with Principal Skinner, licking envelopes.
Was that this episode, or was that a different episode? I don't remember. That could have been this episode.
I feel like it's the same one.
Could be. I don't know. But we had another Troy McClure appearance, which I wrote down you might remember me from such films as The Revenge of Abe Lincoln and the wackiest coffin cart in the West. And I fucking love every time we have a Troy McClure, you might remember me from such things as. I love that so much. He's so
good. Troy McClure is so good.
Also,
I think, like, the thing I remember the most from this episode is when, like, Bart's dream sequence, when he's, like, riddled with guilt, essentially, how it's all black and white.
Yeah.
As the only color. I love when they mess with the colors so much.
No, it's great. It's really
It's, like,
good.
such an early season motif as well, but, like, anytime it happens, it's so cool.
And it's also on the commentary, every time they're like, fuck, this is good, isn't it? The lower's like, yeah, this is nice. I also have another quote. I think, I can't remember, is it Lisa or someone said, Bart, your boss is a crook. Bart being like, I don't think so, but that would explain an awful lot.
Yeah.
Also, Bart working out how to make drinks.
Oh, yeah.
Bart learning how to do that, and Bart being a mobster's really good act. It's real fun.
Yeah.
And this has one of my favourite fucking jokes ever, of Marge being like, that pizza delivery truck's been parked out there for 2 weeks. How long does it take to deliver a pizza? And it drives away, and then a Flowers by Irene van rock up, and I'm like, it's the Flowers by Irene van!
It's the thing from the game!
It's the game?
Yeah, that's in Simpsons Hit and Run.
That's fair enough, but that's not where I would have gone with it. I just love that joke. That's just a joke I've admired. We talk about occasionally like Simpson merch that we love and would love to have, and how like the premise of that pin that is the Mulder from X-Files, but with the crossover with the Simpsons, like FBI badge, it flips down the reveal like a very like sexily clad Mulder. Like talking about that, but I would love some like a pin or something of Flowers by Irene. Like, I'd fucking love that joke.
It's so good.
That's the last bit of notes I had. This is a great episode. It's good.
It's so good. The animation in this episode also, like, I mean, just ignoring the episode previously, this is where you can kind of see where everything becomes a lot more solidified and like less wobbly as the past 2 seasons were. Like, they actually are pretty damn on model right now, which is really, really good to see. And like, a lot of my other notes are from the commentary, where like one of them, I don't remember who said it, but it's like, I'm starting to think that the generation that grew up on this show that's entering adulthood is pretty frightening. Which, we are a generation that grew up on this show.
We are not the generation that grew up on this show.
Not the generation, but like we're in there. We're close enough. And like there's also a mention of like apparently it's like really difficult to draw suits. And like the quote is like, you'd be amazed at how many people think they know what a suit looks like and they draw it. It doesn't quite look right. And I sit back and I think to myself like, nah, shit, you're right.
Yeah, I just had a moment like, my dad is the generation that grew up on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Like, ish. He would have been like, what? He would have been in his late teens when it started to come out, and when Simpsons Mania fucking hit, but, still.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Dad's in the back half of that, but, like, fucking A.
Also, Nancy Cartwright in the commentary for this is just such a joy.
I mean, Nancy Cartwright is always a joy.
Yeah, she's so much fun. Like this entire season's commentary, and like apparently, I found out later on when listening to it that like she keeps all the scripts that she's gotten from all the episodes that she's done, which is so awesome.
That's like, so many.
Yeah. Because like she just has them with her in the commentary booth, and she points out things of like, oh, that's different from the script.
Oh,
it's like, man, how do you have all of those?
Oh, I love that's fucking stellar,
right? Oh, it's so good. And apparently, in this episode in particular, she was pregnant.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Episode 5, Homer Defined. Love the dictionary joke they do in this one. Basically, Homer accidentally saves Springfield nuclear power plant, and he's like, "Oh, I did it on an eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and people are treating me like a hero." Uh-oh.
Yeah. I like that he actually like feels bad about that. It's like, oh no, this isn't good.
Meanwhile, the B plot is Milhouse's mom is like, "You're not gonna play with Bart anymore," and Bart is kind of cut about that.
That is the B plot.
Yeah. Like,
yeah. So this episode's pretty good. I don't have a ton of notes about it because all of my notes are revolved around like the exchange between Smithers and Burns.
Oh, you mean my like main note for this episode?
Yeah. It's like, well, Smithers, I guess there's nothing left to do but kiss my sorry ass goodbye. May I, sir? Ugh.
That one's
Thank
fucking
you for
great.
making my last moments on Earth socially awkward.
No, yeah, like I had no, it's the other bit that has that one because there's two moments of that one. There's that one is like ugh, and there's the sir. There might not be a better time to say this, but I love you, sir. Oh great, today you've made my last moments on this earth socially awkward. Like
It's so good.
Fucking hilarious. Like, best part of the
I
episode.
love how forward he is with it as well. And it just never comes up again.
Also, the Itchy and Scratchy parody of this episode was a parody of My Dinner with Andre.
What was the which parody was it in this one again?
I don't remember. I just have a note that says like, "Oh, this is a parody of My Dinner with Andre," which is a
right.
So they would have been having dinner at a restaurant. That's
okay.
And the title would have been it would have been like My Dinner with Scratchy or something. Like
right,
it's that. Also nice to have a Bart Marge moment. That's always sweet.
I love those moments because they happen so rarely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, like, this is like, I know from the commentary, apparently it just happens, like, a little more often than you would think, that they have to change a joke because the subject of a joke just dies midway during production.
Oh, yeah!
It's like, well, shit, gotta change that now.
Fuck. That's right, I forgot about that, yeah. Next episode's pretty good.
Yes.
Like Father Like Clown, episode 6.
Mm-hmm. Krusty episode.
Krusty's Jewish! He's Jewish!
Yes,
the Krusty's Jewish
it's a nice
episode.
portrayal of Judaism.
I know, right?
It's like, oh my god, this is way better than I remember it being.
Because, like, as a kid, I didn't... The Simpsons was my first proper exposure to not only Judaism, but also Christianity. Like,
yeah.
You know, I grew up in a household with a different religion, and Christianity didn't really come up, because why would it? So...
Simpsons was, like, my way of experiencing, like, I would say specifically the American brand of Christianity, I guess, because, like, it's, for the most part, kind of different from how it's treated here, I would say.
Yeah, it is, but it...
From what I've witnessed from my outside perspective, at least, and like, yeah, of course, the Simpsons, it's a comedy show, so they've got to ham it up a bit.
But
there is also that to consider.
Again, the thing of I haven't seen this episode since I was a kid, and as you go through life, you become a bit more worldly, you learn a bit more information, and in going through and watching this episode, be like, wait, no, this is actually, from my limited understanding, a really good portrayal of like this is really well done, showing like Judaism and Jewish like culture and stuff, and like just there's a lot of little things there that I'm like, I know that's cool. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's real nice. I like this episode.
It's really nice.
It makes the world feel bigger, and that's good.
Oh yeah, it really does. It's also like just so nice to hear like the people in the commentary booth also just like they're laughing like at the show as well, which is always really nice to hear. It's like it's nice to be able to just like appreciate your own art, I guess, and it's really lovely hearing them like get how funny it is to everyone else as well. And also Krusty's illiteracy it's like stayed consistent, which I really like.
But no, this it also again I'm a sucker for a good Krusty episode in which we get to explore Krusty a little bit more, and this one I think is one of the better ones. It's really nice.
It definitely is.
Next episode is Treehouse of Horror 2. Which we get our classic 3 little segments. The Monkey's Paw segment. Which is fun.
I love.
I would like. I don't remember anything really about it. I don't have any notes for this episode.
I don't. The only real note I have here is that like it just says, "Man, I always hated those candied necklaces and bracelets. They were so chalky and hard and sugary."
That's
just like watching Bart down one of them and just like, ugh, they're awful.
I would love to have like a prop monkey's paw as a thing. like, I don't know, the mental image of like hanging out, like you're inviting someone over to your place, chatting away, and then looking over and the monkey paw has got like two fingers curled. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, just seems to be like, oh, it's like, someone made a wish. I don't
Yeah.
know. The mental image of that is very funny to me, and it was fun. It was a bit ago, like learning about the actual story. I'm like, oh, cool, that's neat, that's fun. The Bart Zone episode, like the segment of the Twilight Zone
Yeah.
of which I was supposed to watch before the commentary, but I forgot. Well, no, the original Twilight Zone episode because I did want to kind of watch it and compare.
Yeah.
But I forgot. But no, this was fun. I liked that the conclusion was just Homer and Bart having to have a nice time together.
Yeah.
Like that was nice. And the Homer's Nightmare one is just a bit upsetting. Just
Oh, that's
just a
the
bit like,
Frankenstein one.
yeah,
isn't
just a
it?
bit like. Ugh.
I quite like that one a lot.
I always as a kid felt a bit like ill from it.
It is one of the grosser ones, I will say.
It was because, but also keep in mind, as a kid, I was the think of the implications child. I was the one who always thought a bit too much about it, being like, no, that is really upsetting, actually.
Yeah.
So
Brain's a bit too active there.
yeah, that's how it's always been. But no, this was a fun Treehouse of Horror. It's fun. It's classic.
Yeah.
The Bart Zone segment probably is the best one, but the Monkey's Paw one is always fun. I thought Homer gives it to Flanders, and Flanders just makes it a nice time, and Homer's like, "Aw."
Yeah. And seemingly gets no consequences for his wishes
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Episode 8, Lisa's Pony.
I love it's really nice. Homer and Lisa stories are really good. So like, and this episode begins with a 2001 Space Odyssey reference, right?
I don't remember.
Or is it a different? It's the one where it's the monolith and the monkeys.
Yeah, I remember the segment that they parody, but I remember the animation vividly, but I think that might be this episode. I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I
'cause,
don't
like,
have it written down.
The
in
note
my
I
notes.
have, the note I have is the 2001 reference has always stuck with me, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, which one? They referenced that movie so many times.
Yeah, the only notes I have are just two quotes, and one of them I'm like, where is that from? Like, one of them I'm like, oh, that's when Lisa has to give it the pony of like and all these years I lobbied to be an adult has blown up in my face.
That's the same note I have.
And then I have
Oh, yeah,
another
this
quote
episode,
which is... Oh, you go.
This episode is where Lisa ends up getting a pony, but having a pony is very, very expensive, so Homer takes up a second job at the Quickie Mart.
And keeps falling asleep on the job, and he's trying.
He's
It
getting
is
like
he's really
he's getting
trying.
like 2
but
seconds
yeah.
of sleep a day.
Oh, is this the one where they leave the Quickie, where Homer and Lisa leave the Quickie Mart, and they have like this gorgeous sunset behind them, in front of them?
Yes, I
Yeah.
have a note on that because like the that ending shot in particular, when they walk away from the Quickie Mart, you can see the reflection on the sliding door and like that and like the colors and everything. It's like
That's one of
fuck,
those
it's a beautiful
Simpsons frames that you want framed. Like that's one of those like
Yes.
genuinely gorgeous, like picturesque moments. You're like, no, this show is fucking gorgeous.
scene.
But yeah, the other quote I have from this episode is, "The young man who replaced you is rolling in his grave." Oh, that that would have been Apu talking to Homer about like his job thing, like working at the Quickie Mart. Yeah, there you go. We did it. We solved the mystery.
It's really good. I just love Homer and Lisa episodes in particular so much because they have such a like they're so different, but when they actually like get along, it's so lovely to see. And I think there's like another Homer Lisa episode this season, right?
I believe so. We'll get to it.
We'll get to
We'll
it.
find out. Oh, 40 minutes in.
Anyway, episode. Oh, if you don't have any other notes.
No, I have no notes.
All right, yeah. Episode 9, Saturdays of Thunder. I don't have a ton of notes in here, so I don't really remember what this episode is.
Okay, I'll give you the rundown, but I have 3 notes. So one, I have Buck Henson, Union Buster. That would have been like a sign or a thing on TV or whatever. Like that would have been that. I have another note, which is they go to VHS Village, formerly Beta Barn. Great joke. That's very funny. And then we have, like, just me sitting there being like, fuck, McBain is a perfect parody. Like, it is one of the best parodies I've ever seen. Like, anytime they cut to McBain, I'm like, no, you, as a person who loves those Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, you get it.
I fucking love McBain. So, like, my notes, I've also got 3 notes. One is, love the in-universe shows that keep coming up, so that would be McBain. Good animation on Troy McClure. That could be anything he does. And Spice Rack is a good tattoo idea.
Yeah, just Spice Rack.
The fucking Spice Rack.
Also, so the base of this episode is, after taking like a fatherhood quiz, Homer realizes that he knows nothing about Bart.
This one.
Marge is like, hey, you should spend time with your kid, and so they go and build a soapbox car together. And they have to race against Martin and Nelson. And so
Nelson's goons show up again.
Here's a fun thing. I watched a video essay recently talking about the movie this is parodying.
Oh.
There's a Patrick H. Willems video that just recently came out talking about the original movie, which is a Tom Cruise 1989 film called Days of Thunder. And it's a race car movie. And basically, you know how the 80s movies were very kind of shallow a little bit? Like, some are really good, but a lot of, like, coming off the 70s and their wave of very independent filmmaking to get to kind of the schlock of the 80s, and, like, how it is very, like, picturesque and, like it's perfect for, like, advertisers and audiences in just the right way.
Do you have, like, any examples? Because, like, you know a lot more about 80s movies.
It would be stuff like Flashdance. Well, in particular, because I do recommend the Patrick H. Willems video. He's great at everything he does. But, like, he talks about, like... Days of Thunder is in a similar vein to, like, Top Gun, Flashdance, and, like, those style of movies of, like... It's a very, very basic formula that every movie of these types does. That almost became the Tom Cruise formula, but luckily he was able to escape that and run as fast as he can. But yeah, so it was a movie that kind of killed the 80s film.
Right, okay.
Because what killed the 70s movie was, like, a big budget movie that went way over budget and was a big drama. And it just, like, fucking flopped to the box office in 1980. And this one came out in 89 or 90, and just did the same thing. Big, went way over budget, did so much shit, just died at the theaters.
Damn.
So it killed the 80s movie to actually welcome it to the 90s movie. Anyway, this is a fun little history lesson. And go watch that video. I guess I'll link that in the description. It's fun. Thank you for coming to Cara recommends you a thing that is on the internet variety hour. It's got an hour. Jesus Christ. Anyway, Saturdays of Thunder's, it's nice. It's fine.
It's all right.
Episode 10, Flaming Moe's.
We watched this one together. This is one of the few
Yeah,
episodes we watched together.
I don't remember.
Because I have a quote from you.
Oh, okay.
Fair
enough.
Because this features the first Eye on Springfield segment. And I have a quote from you saying, I forget how weirdly sexualized Springfield is.
It is! It's so sexual!
It just is. There's so much TNA in this show. Sometimes.
Again, there's a quote from Bart in here being like, whoa, TNA!
Yeah. Oh, and like this is the episode that has the slumber party segment with Lisa's friends, and they chase Bart around the place, and eventually they gang up on Maggie, and that's what causes Homer to just leave the house because she's just covered in makeup and like got high heels on, like this. Fucking, I don't know how old Maggie would be. Like maybe a few months old or something.
Also, this episode is the first appearance of the love tester.
I also have a note about that. It's the first one with the love tester. It's very fun.
I always kind of wanted to try a Flaming Moe.
Yeah, same.
Like, I know they technically sell a version of it at like the Universal theme park, but like,
oh yeah.
probably not the specific one with actively like baby medicine, like cough medicine in it.
Yeah. I think it's like I wanted to try it always because it was purple, so it looked like a juice to me.
Yeah. No,
the food and drinks in Simpsons have a way of
I always
making
wanted to
me
have
just be like,
I always wanted to have the Simpsons specific beer. Because of the way it like always like frothed up in like the right way. But it was me as a kid who only frame references juice, being like, cool. As an adult, I don't know if I want beer.
yeah, same. I've tried beer before, and it's fine.
So have I, but the one I had tasted like nothing, and that confused me. You were there when that
just
happened.
Tasted like, yeah, the one I had just I don't remember what exactly it was. It just tasted kind of bitter, and I was like, I think I'm good. This is nasty tasting.
Ugh.
But like, it was also in a different retrospective. I noted that when they got sushi as a kid, I just really wanted that particular sushi. So something about the way that food and drinks are drawn in The Simpsons just makes them look way like sweeter and nicer than they probably are in real life.
Yeah. No, this episode, like, I remember this episode being, like, fine enough and having a nice time, but I'm reading through my notes being like, fuck no, that is good. Anyway, Cheers parody in it, that was also pretty fucking fun.
That's right, the Cheers parody
There's a
so
quote
good.
here where Bart's going to school, because Flavor Mo's get really popular, and Bart's like, yeah, but Dad made it. And he goes to school, and, like Mrs. Krabappel's like, Bart, are those liquor bottles? And then Bart being like, I brought enough for everyone.
Yeah. I love the fact that Nelson also just knows what the drink is, so he calls him out on it. It's like, you are 10 years old.
Yeah, but we know his housing situation. Well, we'll know about his housing situation.
Well, yeah,
and also,
true.
it's a funny joke. But yeah, poor Homer.
Poor Homer. I mainly just remember, like, Act 1 of this episode in particular.
I completely forgot about this, and I'm glad I wrote a note of it, where Bart was like, hey, is there a guy there called Hugh Jazz? And then like, hello,
yes.
I'm Hugh Jazz. Oh, hi. Sorry, I was trying to make a prank call. It's like, oh, that's all good.
Yeah, I
was
love
like,
that
that's
joke so
great,
much.
actually. It's really fun. Episode 11.
Yeah, so
oh, God.
The German episode.
No, you can... oh, God.
So I do have a note on, like, the title of it. It's basically the 1992 equivalent of using Google Translate, in that they used a German dictionary to swap out the title's words.
That's better,
So, like,
I feel.
It's better, but if it's grammatically correct, we have no idea.
Burn? I
We
can't.
do.
Should I
We know a
attempt it?
person who speaks German, though.
Yeah, but I mean, I know a few people. I have German heritage.
You do?
Yeah.
What?
My grandmother on my mum's side is German. My grandfather on my mum's side is Scottish.
That's fun.
Yeah, so that's something. But fun facts. Wow, who would have thought you would have learned a fact about me?
Wow.
But like, I don't know if I'm going to attempt to. I want to attempt the name, and I'm like, probably shouldn't. I could try,
I'm
but
not even gonna bother trying. I'm not even gonna bother trying.
yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, this is the episode where the power plant gets bought out
It's
by
fine.
some German lads.
It's I the beginning of the episode always makes me feel awful, so I don't particularly enjoy this episode too much because Homer sells his stock at $20 instead of
Yeah, that's right.
instead of like. No, yeah, he sells his stock for $25, where everyone else sells their stock for like a couple thousand.
Yeah.
And I love the room that the stockbroker guy is in. Like when Homer gets a phone call from his stock guy, and he's in the dingiest fuck. I was like, this is such a storytelling. So I love this.
Yeah, it's just like this dark, decrepit room with like no sunlight. This guy's probably hasn't been outside in like years or anything. It's just like a lamp on his desk.
It's great. It's real fucking good. But yeah,
Although I will say, this episode has the Land of Chocolate scene.
Yeah, and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is iconic. This is fun. But no,
very
yeah,
fun.
It's a fine episode. Yeah. Then we have episode 12. I married Marge.
I adore this episode. I adore Homer and Marge's relationship so much, especially in this episode, because they genuinely love each other. And like they're so fucking cute as well. I don't remember the exact plot. Is
After worrying that she may yet again be pregnant, Marge drives to Dr. Hibbert's office. While anxiously waiting, Homer begins to tell Bart and Lisa and Maggie about how and Marge got married at a quickie wedding chapel, and how he attempted to prove to Marge's sisters that he can provide for their upcoming child.
Yeah, I remember this.
Which is the story of how he actually also started working at the plant.
Yeah.
I think. But yeah, no, it's just Homer really trying his best.
Yeah, they've gotten married, like they're having kids. They're incredibly broke, so it's like really not easy for them.
Also, this has the classic Empire Strikes Back joke.
Yeah.
Which I fucking love.
So good.
Fuck, it's funny.
Yeah. But like it just feels like such a real episode as well, because I know of like a lot of parents who, like, when they've just gotten married and when they've just had kids, they have like basically no money, so they're just getting by. So it feels like a really real relationship that they have.
Oh yeah, no, it's really something, and it's really well done, and it's nice. It's a good episode.
They're lovely.
Episode 13, Radio Bots.
Yeah, I have a shit ton of notes for this that I totally forgot about.
I have one note for some reason, which is I think this is the first time we see Willie shirtless.
Oh fuck, yeah, it might be.
Yeah, no, so that's fun.
Yeah. So it's Bart's birthday. We've got another birthday episode.
Yeah, he's turning 10 years old.
Yeah. He's got like basically a bunch of gifts he's not really all that impressed with. Homer gets him like a microphone radio thingy that he saw for an ad on the TV, which is just such a 90s style ad as well. And apparently it's based off a real ad from the 80s. And it has a line word for word where someone goes, "Hey, good looking, we'll be back to pick you up later," which is fucking wild to wild to hear about.
Yeah, no, it's always crazy. We're like, the craziest thing is that this is true.
Yeah. So, yeah, this episode's like wild in general. It's like also the first appearance of Larry the Looter.
Oh,
the only appearance of Larry the Looter, but like fucking the animation's spot on that game as well.
Yeah, no,
and the animatronics as well. The way the animatronics move at like the not Chuck E. Cheese is like, what the fuck is the place called again?
What the
place where he goes for his birthday, where the animatronics are.
The specific one from The Simpsons?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I have no notes.
Well,
I only had the one note for this episode. I'm like, oh well. You can watch it yourself. Do your own homework.
Yeah.
Why listening to us?
Yeah, the animatronics definitely look like animatronics, alright?
Fuck.
And it's also this episode has like one of the appearances of like the like the flash photography motif.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've always loved that about the earlier seasons, how they used like the flash photography. And it's like it's appeared a few times before, and it doesn't appear a lot, but whenever it does, it's really, really nice. And this episode, I really like it as well, because it's like you get Bart shenanigans where he's
pulling
not
a prank.
really being.
He's
not being very cruel to anyone, and he does get a comeuppance, but it's not that particularly cruel to him either. Like, he does get stuck in a well, but
that's not
his
great.
parents are genuinely concerned about him, and the town eventually is like, oh yeah, we should probably get this kid out of here.
Yeah, because the whole thing of like Bart pretending to be a kid who's fallen down the well, and then he's like, oh, they're not gonna catch me or whatever, and like a lot of people like was it like Krusty gets together with Sting maybe, and they make like a song together, well, of like sending a love down the well. And like a lot of people set up a lot of things. He's such a sweet kid. We hope he's okay. And then at one point, Bart realizes, wait, shit, they're going to discover because one of the other things that Bart got was a label maker, and he's written property of Bart Simpson over the thing. He's like, fuck, I gotta go grab that, and he falls down the well. And then when they find out that he was lying the whole time, but now he actually is stuck in the well, the town's like, oh, and just leave him. And then
He's got a rough, stuck on his leg as well, so he really can't get out.
Yeah, and so at some point, you know, like Homer and Marge are kind of fed up with the. I think it's they just get kind of fed up with the town people not helping. So like, fuck it, we're digging, and they just start digging, and the town's like, yeah, you're right. This is a child prank gone too far, but he does need help. Correct. Yeah. You know, it's a good episode. It's a very classic episode.
Very good episode. The commentary for this episode is as well is just so all over the place, but I love it. It's like they've brought up multiple times in the commentary before how they lost some sort of award to Claymation Easter. And they bring it up again in this commentary, and at some point they're like, I think are we still bitter about Claymation Easter 15 years later? This is really funny. And also just a random anecdote of one of them trying to get a present for their kids, but it was Simpsons theme, so they were trying to look for the little action figures, but one of the only ones they could find is Resort Smithers. So and he just goes congratulations, son, here's Resort Smithers, and for you, honey, Chalmers. Just for some reason that just sticks with me so well.
Oh fuck no, I've got to go these back.
Oh, it's so good. I do really recommend the commentary for this season.
Yeah, okay, fine. Whatever.
Yes, you made a mistake, my friend.
It's so many episodes, and we need to record these, fuck.
It is a lot of episodes.
The other ones are recorded a little bit earlier than planned. This one's a little bit tighter than usual that I would like for this type of episode. Especially because February's got less days in it. Anyway.
That is true.
But yeah, no, I think Radio Bart is one of the classic Simpsons episodes. If you were to arrange up 20 episodes from the first 8 seasons that are oh, this is quintessential Simpsons, Radio Bart, I would swear, would be on it.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. Episode 14, Lisa the Greek.
Yeah. The one where Homer and Lisa bond in a through gambling, basically.
Yeah. I liked this episode.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Again, it's another Homer Lisa story, so that's nice.
Yes.
But yeah, and it's a thing of teaching Homer hey, be a better dad. And he does, and it's nice.
He learns.
It's a good episode. It's a fun episode. It's fun seeing Lisa and Homer gamble. It's fun. I don't have any notes on this episode.
The only real note I have on this episode is that hearing the in the commentary, the main 3 actresses Yardley Smith, Julie Kavner, and I just said her name before. Why is it escaping me? I'm just terrible with their names. Nancy Cartwright, that's right. Hearing them all in the same recording, just talking normally to each other, is really wild, but also neat to hear. It's yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's always
that's
nice.
the only note I have.
But yeah, that was a good episode. I'm happy to move on.
Yeah.
we've just hit over the hour mark on our recording end.
Yeah.
Though it might be a little bit less, but episode 15, Homer Alone. The family's dependence on Marge. Opening. Yes, we'll get to that, but I'll just give the basic plot because I completely forgot what the plot was. Of the family's dependence on Marge because they suffer a nervous breakdown. She just parks herself on the bridge.
That's right.
She's nope, not moving. She goes to a spa to calm down. Homer, meanwhile, has to take care of Maggie, while Bart and Lisa are sent to spend their time with Aunt Patty and Selma. Yeah. And then they all realize, you know what, we really needed Marge. I like that Homer... the Roadrunner stunt is hilarious. That's great. That's always fun.
It's so good.
It's perfect parody. It's stellar.
It's one of my favorite openings they've ever done.
I think my favorite opening is coming up in this season. I'd have to... We'll get to the notes. Yeah, no, it is, I think, like, the second last episode of this season has my favorite opening of The Simpsons ever.
Nice.
But yeah, no, I like that Homer's really trying to be a good for Maggie. Like, he's not, like, half-assing it or whatever. And it's not the trope of, like, him being like, it's fine with the baby girl. Like, he's genuinely really trying. Like, to, like, there's a thing of, like, Homer's, like, trying to do, like, a puppet show, but then gets attacked by the dog.
Yeah.
Which is really funny.
He's trying his best.
And it's also just really nice that Marge got to have a good time.
Yeah.
We love Marge, and we're happy that she got to have an okay time. But then this episode's just nice.
Yeah.
But Lisa having a crazy time, and Aunt Patty and Selma's been like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. Wasn't like Lisa at one point saying, like, you think that's bad? I've seen them naked.
Yeah.
It's just Bart just screaming.
But no, this was a very good episode. Episode 16, Bart the Lover. Fuck.
Oh, yeah, this episode.
Okay, so my first note is I really dislike this. I really didn't like this one as a kid. Now to get context, I go directly over to the Wikipedia page, and the first line is, when a yo-yo craze sweeps over Springfield Elementary School, I'm like, that's right!
Yeah. I actually really liked this episode. I found it really enjoyable. But yeah, this is the episode where they get like the school gets one of those like guest presentation things that like we definitely had stuff like this, just not this level of extreme.
Yeah, no, if you want to see the exact energy of what we did have, watch the Aunty Donna bit.
Oh yeah, I do need to watch that one.
Have you not seen that one?
I don't think I have now.
We're gonna watch that after this.
Shit,
it's like 3 minutes, but like it is fucking spot on, if not like that extra bit of exaggerated of like the person coming to the school to do a talk.
Auntie Donna's portrayal of Australian schools is just always spot on anyway.
Yeah, I guess that's the second link, is their entire comedy run of that. Oh, don't you love her recommendations? But no, I remembered why I disliked this episode. But basically, Bart kills the class goldfish, and Krabappel sentences Bart to a month of detention. Bart decides to write a phony love letter to Krabappel under the guise of a man who was responsible, who has responded to a personal ad of her being like, "Hey, I'm really single. I would like anyone."
Yeah, this is a sad Krabappel episode.
Which is why I really I dislike it, because it's just really hard to watch. Because it's just like Bart not realizing what he's doing. It's a good episode, but
I wouldn't like it as much if it didn't have like the turnaround at the end with the whole family going in and being like, you fucked up, so like,
but you're 10, so we're gonna help you out. Like, we're gonna try to fix this because this poor woman.
Yeah. And it's nice seeing them get together just to like write like basically a farewell letter for Mrs. Krabappel. And it's like, yeah, no, they're actually like trying here, which is really nice. The first note I have in here is like the Zinc film that they played. It's always stuck in my head because of like the musical cues and transitions that they use, because it's from mid-century shows, and I've watched mid-century shows and I know those exact musical transitions. So it's like, fuck, I know those.
Another perfect parody.
Yeah.
I have 3 notes.
Also,
oh, you go. You keep going.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, Homer's swear jar B plot is
yeah, no,
one of my favorite B plots.
Yeah, no, that's great. Like, I have a great one because he's trying to build the dog like a
kennel,
like a kennel, and there's a great one. There's a quote I have, which is like, "What do you think, Lisa?" And Lisa being like, "How's the dog supposed to get in?" Well, and then swears and
yeah.
Oh, it's so funny. Oh, it's
It's
good.
so good. I love like the conclusion of it where like he's basically filled up the entire swear jar. He like hits his hand with a hammer. He's like, that's good. And then he just steps on a nail and
It goes right through his shoe.
And
It's
he's like,
awful.
"Fiddle-dee-dee, that'll require a tetanus shot."
That was the other quote I had written down.
It's so good.
Yeah, no, that one's great, and there's a really funny, like I have a screenshot on my phone from like a YouTube recommendation thing from like fucking 2018 or something, in which it was like a like best of clips of The Simpsons or whatever, and it was that still image, and in the right underneath that was a picture of Dan Avidan being like, ugh. And it fucking floored me, and so I think on my Instagram, like on my Instagram saved stories, that's one of them of that little thing.
I need to see
so
that.
yeah, that's where that is if you want to look for that personally. But no, that it is also one of my favorite like B plots. It's so fucking funny.
Yeah, it's like since I've watched that episode, I've been like just absent-mindedly going like fiddle-dee-dee just to myself whenever I do something.
No, the one last note I have on this episode is every so often they'll go to the theater and there'll be like this one had Ernest Needs a Kidney. Do you know anything about the Ernest movies?
Nope.
They were like a series of. It was just like one like character actor did like a bunch of like what you would argue like straight to VHS kind of whatever movies that were like kind of for kids. Like they were kind of designed for kids, but like Ernest Saves Christmas, Ernest Does This, and The Simpsons every so often will do a parody of it. And because I get the reference, I'm like, no fuck, that's really funny. Ernest Needs a Kidney. I'm pretty sure there's another Ernest parody coming up later on. I'm like, fuck. Well, there was one last season. It's basically it was just like Ernest does a thing, but like I can't say overly too much because I learnt about it like maybe in 2016. So it's been a bit of time since I last heard about it, and I'm pretty sure where I learnt about it originally would have been like a Nostalgia Critic from way back when. So like so it's been a minute, and I don't have a better source since, but I get the joke. And now you guys get the joke. And now we get like one of my favorite episodes of all time. Episode 17, Homer the Bat.
Homer at the bat.
Fuck! I keep getting rid of the at.
This is such a fucking funny episode.
Genuinely.
I will say, you know how like it was either in season 1 or season 2 we mentioned how like what the old film scratching technique they used was literally just taking a piece of film and scratching it
we
against
mentioned that in the
They did it again
1.
for this.
Yeah.
They just scratched it against some concrete. And I was like, fucking hell.
Fuck. Yeah, basically this is a parody of a particular baseball movie I can't remember the fucking name of. That's about like literally the thing of like a lightning strikes a tree and the guy makes a baseball bat out of it and the movie happens. Homer does the same thing, but it's for the plant softball team. And they start doing really well, and Homer like attributes it to his like lucky bat that he made, and then everyone starts to acquire their own bats and things, and then I think like Lenny had like a mannequin. Oh, no, he had like a like
he got his leg from his sister.
Yeah, like from his sister and shit like that. It was really funny. And Mr. Burns makes a really big bet with another guy.
With the other power plant owner.
Yeah, with the other power plant owner of like, oh, our team would beat yours. And then Mr. Burns kind of panics, fires the whole team, like gets rid of the whole team, and hires a bunch of proper professional baseball players.
Yeah. Well, before he does that, he wants to hire a different set of baseball players, but they've been dead for decades because he knew them from when he was like 20 or something. Which is really funny. So Smithers goes out and finds some like still living
finds like the best of the best of like baseball players, and because for it to be okay, they all have to work jobs at the plant, so they all get hired to work at the power plant. And every one of them because you watched the commentary. I wanted to for this one, but never got around to it. Did that? Yeah. So was it the actual people who did the actual people voice themselves, or?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, they did.
Yeah, because I remember it being that, but fuck, which is so good because every one of them has their own little gimmick about themselves.
Yeah.
Or like they're so memorable, and like there'll be a little joke. There'll be like a joke with each of them of whatever. But basically, when it comes down to like Homer's really upset because he really wanted to be a part of the team. And he works so hard, and they're just kind of getting shunned from it. The whole team basically gets fired from the baseball team. And systematically, on the day of the game, every single one of the baseball players get caught in a thing that makes them unable to legitimately play for the softball team, and they have to get everyone back in, except for Homer's guy. He's just fine. Except for Strawberry.
Yeah.
He's still kicking. But it's the funniest fucking thing ever. I love it.
Funny.
One of the guys is just really... He doesn't care about... He's like, oh, I enjoy baseball, but like, I get to work at a power plant. That's really cool. And like, it's such a laid-back environment. So he ends up with... He ends up with too much radiation poisoning. That Dr. Hibbert's like, I mean, good luck. It's like, look, you're lucky to be alive. We're gonna try our best, but you're not gonna be able to play baseball today. You can barely move. You might barely be able to speak within the next couple of hours. And then it's like, sir, we've got another one. Dear God! And then because,
gigantism.
Yeah, because one of Mr. Burns gave the baseball players all this special drink, which is very old and very like you shouldn't drink this. And it was like it's like oh, are any downsides? Like, oh, it could have a chance of gigantism, but it's very rare. And one of them got very addicted and has against them with gigantism, and that's you have that one. My favorite one of the...
I love how he strolls out of the room on a wheelchair and he's still drinking it.
He's still drinking it. Then we have the guy who was driving to the game, and the lady's like, oh my God, my house is on fire. My baby. He's like, don't worry, ma'am, I'll save it. Runs into that burning house, comes back out with the baby. He's like, here he goes, like, oh, thank you. Bark, bark. Oh, my dogs and cats. It's like, okay. And runs into there. And then we cut back later on, and he's like grabbed out the washing machine, the bed, the grand piano.
And she's like, the dryer goes over there, actually. And he's like, yes, ma'am.
And he says, the house is still on fire.
No one's come to help.
It's so funny.
It's so good.
It's so
much. One of the others gets stopped by the cops as well, so he's just stuck in jail.
He's just in jail. My favorite one is a guy who's just like, oh, cool, like a little touristy thing. It's real nice to be in small towns. And it's like, hey, Bob, you want to go into like this, like he's like, hey, you want to see what's behind the curtain? He's like, yeah, all right, cool. It's like he pays 10 cents. I don't remember what the advertisement for it was. It's like, wow, cool.
Me neither.
And he falls into the void. He falls into the forever. He's
just
gone. He's just... And he's just like, it's fucking funny. What else happens to the baseball team? One guy has a mustache.
Oh, wait, they get hypnotized.
Oh,
they get hypnotized at one point, but one of them gets hypnotized into thinking he's just a chicken.
Yeah, like the basic like joke. Well,
apparently in the commentary, like they just had like a really funny time just like making him just cluck like a chicken. And he was like, and yeah, I just instructed him to cluck like a chicken, and I kept doing it.
No, it's always fucking funny when you get like a... Was it like when in Gravity Falls, because that's the main commentary I know, when they had Larry King on to guest, and then like they're like, wait a minute, we can make him say anything, and they'll just write it. They were writing shit on the fly, but like can you say this into the microphone?
Yeah,
and one of those made it into the show, which was like llamas are nature's greatest warriors.
Oh fuck yeah.
But no, like every so often you'll hear a great story of, wait, we can make an actor do anything? Fuck.
It's so funny.
But
yeah, the next one is like Birds gets frustrated at one of the guys, like he thinks his hair is too long.
No, he has a mustache. He's like, get rid of those sideburns.
Yeah, But like he keeps coming back with his hair gradually like more and more shaved.
More and more shaved in the way of like, what the fuck does he mean? This is the closest thing I have to sideburns. You don't, and then it's
He just
it's like
keeps doing
he's
it.
just so he's
And
like, you're
eventually
fine.
kicks him
He's
off
like,
the team.
whatever. I
And
don't
apparently
know.
that's also based on like a real thing that happened, where like someone's dad was like really adamant about like his worker's hair being short, and he just kept telling them to like shave those sideburns, shave your hair. It's like, but it was never good enough for him. It's just like fuck. Yeah, no, like people would have just been like that sometimes.
What else happens to the rest of the team? Because Strawberry's fine. He was just okay. Except for there's a moment where like Bart or Lisa make a comment about him and he just cries.
They boo at him.
Yeah, they boo and
they
he just
jeer his name.
They just
Daryl.
He just starts crying.
And then Marge is like, you shouldn't do that. That's pretty mean. And Bart's like, oh, it's fine. Like, they're professionals. They're used to it. And then, yeah, it just cuts to a shot of, like, a single tear falling down his face.
Poor guy. But no, genuinely, this is one of my favorite episodes ever.
It's so funny.
But yeah, fuck. I please watch this episode. It's fucking great.
It's so good.
I don't have any other notes for that episode. But yeah,
the ending song they used for it is like it's a parody of a different song. I don't remember what it is.
Oh,
but if I'm remembering correctly from the commentary, they got the original singer to just sing this new one.
That's right. They do a
I hope
parody.
I'm correct on that.
They do a parody of something. I don't fucking remember. But I remember being like, oh, I recognize that. I just didn't take... Look, that episode was happening while I was getting ready in cosplay and trying to sort that shit out.
That's right.
So I don't have any notes for that episode.
It's just a good episode.
Separate Vacations, episode 18.
Separate vocations.
Yep. Maybe you should do it next time.
Maybe I will.
Maybe.
Yes. So my first note about this is I keep forgetting the actual plot of this episode and then remember how bonkers wild it is.
I have no notes, but I have no notes, but also forgot the plot of this. I keep forgetting the plot of this episode.
It's like they do a so all the kids do like a test to basically see like what career they would hypothetically get as adults. Lisa gets homemaker, which really bums her out, and Bart gets police officer, which is really... He's like... was he initially excited about that?
He was a bit confused, but he was like, okay. He was like, huh, I have a career. Huh.
Yeah.
Like, he was a bit more just like, from memory, he was a bit more like, huh, yeah, alright, okay.
But yeah, he goes like on a
ride
like
along.
Free ride with Eddie and Lou. And like they eventually catch Snake stealing lottery tickets, and it's so wild that like they corner him in like a car parking area, and then they turn to him and be like, "This is against every regulation we know, but will you cover for us?" And they just hand him a gun.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, correct. Fuck.
So fun, and then Snake just straight up tries to run him over, which
tries to just kill Bart
initially, because I was like, "Fuck, is that out of character for him?"
I think as we go on a little bit more, but not as much as you'd think.
Bart gets made an honorary police officer by Chief Wiggum. He really enjoys the experience because he survived, luckily, because the place he drives to just suddenly gets really narrow.
And doesn't it cut to an ad break?
Yeah, it does. It cuts to like a to be continued.
Because I remember watching this episode on TV because of that. And I'd already seen my memory of it is I'd already seen the episode, but also like, ad break. Like, I remember the ad break for that one specifically.
Yeah. But yeah, like Bart takes this role like in stride and eventually becomes like a hall monitor times 10, I would say, because Principal Skinner notices him and he's like, "No, yeah, this is you're behaving and you're like on the side of law somehow, I guess.
So this is strange,
meanwhile,
but I'll keep that in
yeah.
mind.
Meanwhile, Lisa is not doing good. She's doing very bad, and she's like, basically, she doesn't care about her schoolwork anymore. She's like, she ends up hanging out with like the bad girls.
First time we see them,
their,
they're great.
I love their designs. They're so good because their designs in particular just really stand out to me. They're really, really fun, and like and the fact they're just smoking in there as well is just like you're like, you guys look like you're 12. I think.
Yeah, they are like 12 or
Yeah, and also this episode is the start of Skinner's like Vietnam mentions.
Yeah. Which, as
like,
soon as it happens
I've
once...
seen some heinous stuff back in Nam, but this is too much.
This is the first time it happens, and then for like the rest of the season, it happens every second episode.
It just keeps going.
Which I love. This is a great thing of characterization I think is amazing for Principal Skinner.
Yeah.
Genuinely, like, no, this is good shit.
It's
like,
so good. And like, eventually, like, Lisa steals all of like the teacher's textbooks and stuff like that and just hides them in her locker, so all the teachers are just panicked and stuff, which, by the way, I love how like decrepit the teacher's lounge is in this show. It's just like the walls are cracked and everything, everyone's smoking in there, like everything just looks so bad, which like you feel bad for them, and it's like, man, this school is being hung together by like masking tape.
And not even the affordable kind. Like, this is the cheapest masking tape you can get.
Yeah, Skinner Bar, like they go out and look for like all the textbooks. Skinner's initially like, we're gonna have to buy all of them again, and then Bart's like, no, like if someone's stolen them, then they reasonably would still be at the school, right? So they go look through them. They look through everyone's locker until they come to Lisa's. Bart's like shocked that Lisa is the one who did it. Skinner comes around, and then like he asks like, who's the culprit of this? And then Bart's like, I did it. And so he takes all the blame for it. So he's like, he's been stripped of all of his authority now, which is like, it's such a fun episode.
It's nice.
I love the dynamics in it, but I just love the chalkboard writing that Bart has to do at the end of it, because it says, I will not expose the ignorance of the faculty.
Yeah.
Just really good.
And
last note I have in here is like commentary notes, which like the scene where the Bart is asking like, oh, so I'm basically becoming a squealer, and like it cuts to like a fantasy sequence of him with what's his name that does his voiceover for that? Steve begins with an S. He's a very well-known guy. But like, yeah, he does the voiceover, and you notice he has a blue dot over his face, which is apparently a parody of a rape trial where one of the Kennedys had been accused of raping a woman, but the trial had been televised, so they censored her face with a blue dot.
Which is fuck?
Wild. Yeah, it's wild to learn. And like one of the guy who mentioned that in the commentary was like, yeah, no, I wasn't really a fan of that when that happened. It's like, fuck it, hell, this is some wild backstory here.
Yeah, why do these TV retrospectives get so heavy sometimes? Like, I mean, don't even get me started on the unreleased Invader Zim one.
Oh yeah.
Fucking hell.
Oh boy. Oh man.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's a good episode. It's very, very, very fun.
Anyway, episode 19, Dog of Death. This one was fine.
This one was alright. The only real note I have in here is that, like, I think this is an early form of Grandpa's rants that go absolutely nowhere. I was just gonna say, it's like, it's when the dog is, like, just kind of passed out on the floor, and he's like, hey, the dog's dead, and they keep going, like, no, he's not dead, his tail's wagging. So he just starts going on ranting like, oh yeah, because like if Grandpa says the dog is dead, it's really alive, and it just keeps going on and on.
That's
It's
right.
like, I'm tired of this conversation. I'm going home.
Yeah, fuck. The only notes I have is another Vietnam reference. Immediately,
That's
it's like,
right.
yeah, all right. This is the episode where This is where Gold King Homer comes from.
Yes.
Like
Oh,
this
it's
is
so
that
good.
episode. Oh, and this is the episode with the vet guy who, as soon as he appeared, I'm like, oh, you. I remembered you so
It's
vividly.
you.
Why? Why are you in my
Right?
brain? And I mean, he is quite attractive, and he's kind of
He is
animals.
pretty attractive, to be
But
fair.
yeah, but still, I was like, what the fuck are you in my brain? Why are you here? What is this? But no, I don't have any other notes. It's a fine episode. The dog's sick. They spend all their money. They have no money, and Marge loses out winning the lottery. They just get upset at the dog for being alive, and the dog runs away.
Yeah.
Um,
And gets picked up by Burns to
Yeah,
becoming a guard dog, which is very strange considering Santa's little helper is a greyhound.
yeah, but whatever.
It's like, all right, cool. They do a Clockwork Orange parody here as well.
Yeah, they do. Episode 20.
Colonel Homer.
Yep.
Yeah, I like this one quite a lot.
Okay, one, they go to a movie theater again. But yeah, no, I also quite like this episode. They go to a movie theater again, and two of the movies are Honey, I Hit a School Bus, which is fucking hilarious, and Ernest
Yes.
versus the Pope.
Ernest versus the Pope.
Yeah, no, that's so good jokes.
Fuck,
They're very
that feels
good.
like a South Park joke.
Yeah, South Park would either make a poster or show a scene from it where the Simpsons just had it on the
They would
big
have like
sign.
the audio of the movie playing while the kids are watching it.
But yeah, we have. But no, this episode's nice because it's Homer just trying to help someone out.
Yeah.
It has this weird marriage crisis bit to it.
It's kind of like Homer's like a bit oblivious.
He's a little
in this
oblivious
episode.
because what's the person's name? Yeah, that's right.
Mindy?
No, Lorene.
No. That's right, yeah. I always mix up their names because it's like,
You're
it's
thinking of-
two different
is-
affair episodes.
Yeah, you're thinking of I like that you said Mindy, and I know exactly who you're talking about. I have the
Yeah.
action. I have the little figure of Mindy. That's crazy. Anyway, yeah. So, like, she's kind of fallen in love with Homer a little bit, and Homer's just kind of oblivious, just trying to help her out with her career because he's like, "You've got a great voice. I will be your
Yeah.
agent, I guess."
Yeah.
But he's like, "Yeah, no, hey, you're not. I don't want to. I have a wife, you know. I like, but there's a great. I have one quote in here which is nice. Which is just like was it Lorraine being like, "You're as smart as you are handsome," and Homer being like, "Hey, oh wait, no, that's a compliment."
Yeah.
Um,
It is kind of cute how much she is attracted to Homer. And, like a lot of people are really attracted to Homer.
which is really nice to see. I don't know. I think it's good. Also, I don't
Yeah.
remember Lorraine ever being so forward.
Yeah, me
She
too.
is so much more forward than I ever remember. But also, I remember I don't remember the affair, not the affair, but like I don't remember the marriage, like the bit of crisis about this episode. I just remember Homer becomes an agent. I'm pretty sure I have a Homer Simpson with that specific cowboy outfit.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Man.
But yeah, no, this
Yeah,
is
like
a
the,
good episode. If you handle
I really
marriage
enjoyed-
crisis episodes.
Yeah. I said before, I love the music episode, so I love this episode as well. The music is so good, especially because I think they got the guest star who is playing. Fuck, what's her name again? Is it Lorraine?
Lorraine.
Please,
Lorraine.
Lorraine.
No, Lurleen.
The girl.
Fuck. It's
Lurleen.
Lurleen. So I have
That's
my
why
own-
like Lorraine wasn't sounding right in my head. I was
Yeah,
like, is that right?
Lurleen, because it's Lurleen.
Yeah, anyway, if I remember correctly, the guest voice actress for Lurleen, she wrote like at least a good chunk of the music for this episode.
Oh,
And
fuck
like
yeah.
yeah, and it's so I love the music in this episode so
Also,
much.
another fun fact I just learned as I was just like looking at the Wikipedia article I have open. This is the only episode this season written by Matt Groening.
That's right. Yeah, they mentioned that in the commentary.
Crazy.
Yeah. Another fun fact about this episode, this came out like when CDs were like just starting to like really be picked up. It was like in a very early form of it. Yeah. And yeah, the rest of the notes I have are from the commentary because if I were to recommend any of the commentary from this season alone, I would recommend it for this episode.
All right.
Because like the amount of anecdotes they have in here as well. And they also mentioned like a bunch of jokes that they had to cut out, and it's like, no, fuck, that's fun to hear about. And one of them is like a story that Matt was telling because earlier in the episode they're in the cinema, and that was like kind of based off of an experience Matt had where he went to a cinema with his friend, and it was just him, his friend. It was initially just the two of them, so they were totally alone, and then like two girls came in. And, like, despite the cinema being totally empty, they just sat right in front of them, which is, like, always strange to do. So, like, Matt's friend just kind of, like, taps him on the shoulder and is like, hey, can you move? And then they're like, all right, fine, we'll move. And then, like, they move... like... And I think I remember Matt was, like, trying not to be very confrontational. He was like, let's just move. And then his friend is like, no, we'll tell them to move.
Which is...
So they moved to the...
Why don't we just move, guys?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And so the girls move to the front, and then they turn back to them, and they're like, okay, are you satisfied now? And then Matt's friend just goes like, I won't be satisfied until you burn in hell. And it's like, what the fuck? What the fuck, man? It's like, no, you don't need to do that.
What the fuck?
And then the girls' boyfriends come in and sit next to them, and they give them the dirtiest looks. It's like, what the fuck, man?
What the fuck? Oh my god.
Please, if you've got the DVD to this episode, listen to that story at least, because it's so funny.
Okay.
Oh my god. Just yes, that's that episode. It's good. The commentary's funny.
You know what's a better episode? Episode 21, Black Widower.
Oh, Black Widower. I love this episode.
Selma's got a new boyfriend. Oh, I wonder who it's Sideshow Bob.
It's like, shit.
This
So apparently they got an actual like mystery writer for this episode to help out with the whole like whodunit part of it.
I did know it was like story by two people, teleplay done by John Vivian. I'm like, huh, that's not how any of the other episodes are credited. Crazy.
Yeah. It's like I love whodunits. And so I love this episode a lot.
No, this episode's just great. I love Sideshow Bob episodes, so I'm having a great time. He's one of my favorite characters.
He's genuinely so good. And like I've got a couple of quotes in here. I don't have a ton of notes here. It's mainly just quotes. And basically just be like, yeah, I love the whodunit part. And it's like a quote from is it which one of the twins is the straight one? It's Selma, isn't it?
Yeah, Selma's the straight one.
Yeah, Selma. Yeah, it's a quote from Selma while she's like writing to Sideshow Bob, and she's like, "Enclosed is a photo of me and my twin sister on a tandem bike. I forget which one I am." It's just like so good. And like later on in the episode where Bart figures out what's happening with Sideshow Bob and Selma, he's like, after trying to explain it 4 times to Homer, I explained it to Mom, and we were on our way.
Yeah. No, genuinely, this episode's great. Like, it's really funny. It's just fucking stellar. It's really good.
Sideshow Bob is such a good character. Like, his voice and his acting is like motions, the way he moves, and everything about him is so good.
And after learning that when DBZ abridged, when they were basing Cell a little bit off of Sideshow Bob and like voice wise, and I feel like the types of dialogue, and I'm like, no, you're right. Sideshow Bob is really good. Like, I always liked Sideshow Bob, but fuck,
Yeah.
and he's always great. He's fun. No, it's a great episode. Also, the episode starts out with a dinosaur parody. That's crazy.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, in the commentary, they're like, oh, yeah, this is a parody of Dinosaur, which, like, a lot of you probably won't get. And I'm sitting there like, I surprisingly know what that is.
I know about it, but I never saw it. But it's like, I knew about it through probably in a similar vein to, like, we're in a really weird, interesting spot where depending on where you get your entertainment from, it depends on what you learn a lot about. So because back when I watched a lot of Angry Video Game Nerd and Nostalgia Critic, I learned a lot of particular stuff about that era and time. As time's gone on, I've learned different things and different perspectives about those eras, but because of that, I have, like, these weird cultural touch points that when, like, a 10-minute power hour will be like, oh, look at the moon boots. People are like, oh, I remember those advertisements. Like, I know I have enough cultural touch points to, like, oh, a Teddy Ruxpin, I know what that is because of fucking $1 Million Butt in the episode they did that one explicitly, and they talked about it and explained it a bit more to me. And I don't know how many other people have that, but I weirdly have a lot of knowledge about things. So when, like, oh, cool, dinosaurs reference. But then, you get, like, things like how Corey's like, oh, I grew up on that show. And you're like, wow, fun. That's cool. And that all on Disney Plus if you want to watch Dinosaur. I don't know. I've never been overly tempted to watch it, but it is all on Disney Plus. So you can if you want. Episode 22, The Otto Show.
Yeah.
This was cool to have an episode about Otto. I don't think it was anything particularly amazing, but I was like, I'm glad we're doing this.
Yeah.
So
I love the the music show that they go to in the first act. That's probably my favorite part about it.
Okay. So fun fact about that music show. They're going to see the band Spinal Tap.
Spinal Tap, that's what it is.
So Spinal Tap is a fake band, but not made for the show. They're a fake band for something else.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is fucking crazy. I've seen the movie This Is Spinal Tap. I didn't particularly like it overly that much. I had a good time, but I was like, it's whatever. The only joke I like from that movie was they had this weird, like, recurring thing of like, yeah, no, we don't know what it is, but every time we have a drummer, they at some point spontaneously combust and die. And they have to keep replacing drummers, and
that's really
and
funny.
The movie ends with the third drummer spontaneously combusting. But, like, because do you know anything about the Spinal Tap? What it is?
Nah.
It's a mockumentary about a fake about a fake band that's that's starting to kind of like lose their form a little bit. They've been going around for like 10 years and whatever. It's well done for what it is. But it was crazy to be like, so a fake band in this media is a real band in this media, and that's insane. That's cool. You can just do shit
that's
sometimes.
Really
that's just fun. The Spinal Tap and that whole thing was very fun. Otto crashes the school bus and has to get his license redo. Well, he has to get a license.
He just has to get a license in general.
And the Simpsons family try to help him out, but,
if you need proof of my identity, I wrote my name on my underwear. Oh, wait, these aren't mine. I genuinely love Otto.
Otto's
he doesn't
great.
really appear that much, but I love him.
I think Otto does work better in, like, just, like, individual segments for, like, a joke or two.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm glad we got at least one Otto episode to have. And also, the only other note I have is that one point Otto asked Patty if they're trans.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Which is... I don't know, I'm like...
It's one of those jokes that's like, well, you definitely could have done that a lot worse, I guess.
Yeah, it's a thing where I'm looking at it being like, could be a lot worse. I'm fine with this.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
okay with this, but it's funky.
Yeah. The only real notes I have for this is, like, again, going into the commentary, because, like, this episode features a decent amount of, like, copyrighted music in it. Like, in particular, Homer, like, singing Spanish Flea, which is how I found out that that song even has lyrics in it in the first place.
Huh.
And, like, and so they just kept talking about, like, yeah, that cost a lot of money, and like Fox kept asking us like to choose a different song so it wouldn't cost as much money, but we didn't want to do that. And like, and at one point one of them was like, this is the worst commentary ever. It just sounds like accountants doing commentary. So good. And then like and then in the credits, because they have Dan Castellaneta in this commentary as well, they just like he at one point just starts singing Spanish Flea in Homer's voice, and they're like, oh no, we don't know if we have clearance, we don't know if we can do that. It's just like and at the end of it, it's like, if there was like a long moment of silence there, it's because we didn't get Dan Castellaneta clearance to sing Spanish Flea on here, which I mean, luckily it seems like they did.
Or they didn't tell anyone. And
or
no one
that.
checked. That happens sometimes, but no, fuck. But yeah, this is a fine episode.
Yeah.
Episode 23, Bart's friend falls in love. Now, this episode has my favorite opening. It has It has the Raiders of the Lost Ark. It is such a fucking well done parody.
It's so good.
It is like, this is the only part of the episode I remember. Well, actually, there's another thing I remember very vividly, but this particular, I just have vivid memory of sitting on the floor and watching The Simpsons, being like, "That's so great," because I also loved Indiana Jones, so I was like, "I get it. I know the reference. This is awesome." That's right. Because, so also this has the Fluffy Bunny, like the Fluffy Bunny sexual education video is.
This is my favorite Troy McClure video ever.
I think I might have another one that's my favorite, but this is up there, and this is definitely the most iconic.
It's so good.
I just remember fucking like, because it's a sex education video, but it's like two bunny characters, like as like the showing everything happens, and then they have sex, and then the kids are like, ah, and then Krabappel just like, she's faking it.
I love it so much. Krabappel is like, a few quotes in this episode are really good. Like, she just keeps like remarking about her ex-husband.
Like, that's great, but then I had a good chuckle at the mental image of the people making the Fluffy Bunny short in universe and being like, well, we'll make it realistic. She's clearly faking it. Like, like that being a thing that Krabappel's clued into and was correct about. And I'm like, that's fucking stellar.
That's so funny.
Also, Homer's B-plot in this is fucking hilarious.
It's so good.
Like, Homer, like, they get Homer to apply for, like, a subliminal cassette tape to help him lose weight, but, like, the place is like, oh, we've run out of the weight loss ones, we'll just give him the vocabulary run, and they're not gonna notice. And so, throughout the rest of the episode, Homer's vocabulary gets really good, and they're like, it doesn't look like you've lost any weight, and he just keeps saying the most, like, crazy things, and it's the best thing. It's so funny.
It's so funny hearing it come from Homer specifically.
Yeah, and I think Lisa has like one or two reactions of like, wait a minute. But I couldn't know about that. It's very good. And the main plots, it's fine. Although this does have the pose of Milhouse looking sad on the school like playground.
Yeah.
That is used for those edits and things. So yeah, that's fun. But yeah, this episode was alright.
Yeah, I think it's like the first time we've seen like a private school in The Simpsons as well.
Well, we see the fancy school in the second episode ever. Bart the Genius.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did forget about that.
So, but it is uncommon to see them.
Yeah, I guess it sticks in my mind because they've got that particular type of like private school uniform.
Which is funny because this one I don't remember. I don't remember a private school at all. The other one sticks in my mind a lot more.
It's because she goes like to the I think it must be like a Catholic school or something where they've got like a bunch of French Canadian nuns.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got like the checkered blue dress uniform with the dress shirt underneath and stuff like that.
But yeah, no, this was a good episode. It was fine. The good bits are great, but it's very iconic. But it's alright. The last episode, we might be shy of 2 hours. That's good if we talk about it quickly. Brother, can I spare 2 dimes?
Can you spare 2 dimes?
You're doing this next time.
Fam.
I'm not doing it anymore.
I'll handle it next time.
You
Don't
do it
you
next
worry.
time. You do it. I'm taking off my hat.
But yeah, this is the return of Danny DeVito as Herbert Powell.
For the second time and only time, this character never shows up again.
Nope. This episode starts with Homer being sterile.
Oh yeah.
Which I always forget. And all the other notes I have in here are in regards to the commentary.
Yeah, I just have, this is a wild episode that ends happier than I expected. I fully expected Herb to fully portray the like be awful to the family there and be like, I got my money back, fuck yous, and leaving. And he doesn't. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. Huh.
Yeah, he's just really nice to them.
Yeah, this episode was alright. I was expecting this to be worse, but I actually kind of like this. I expected Herb to kind of play like an evil guy, or like kind of an awful man, but he's not great.
Yeah, that's kind of what you'd expect, especially at the start of the episode where he's like,
he seeks revenge.
He's seeking revenge. Yeah,
he actively is like, I will get my revenge, and then he doesn't do revenge. He's just like, hey, I need help, and they help him out, and he's like, cool, thanks, and he is able to make his money back.
I love how he ends up at the Flanders place first, and they're like, come in, we'll like rub your feet and stuff, and it's like, oh, this is a lot. And they just give him like a new suit and everything.
They like clean him up, they shave him. It's funny.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like the commentary side of this episode. You get a little peek into like the workaholic nature of some of these people, because at one point, Algene mentions that he was working 20-hour days, and like everyone else in the room was like, "What? No, that cannot be real." And he was like, "No, it was real. Like someone else can vouch for me." Which is like, Algene, my guy.
Buddy, hey.
Like, my note here is just like, Algene, what is wrong with you?
I get it, but Jesus, man.
Someone else in the room says, like, after 15 hours at work, you just kind of start to mutate into another form.
It's a thing of, like, because working my job for that long, dead. Working a job that I actually care about, ooh, I get it. Like, you shouldn't.
It's easier to fall into that trap.
You shouldn't, but I get it. I see how you get there. I see how, like, if I'm working 20-hour days, it's like, you shouldn't. Fuck.
It's just fucking wild. And yeah, this is the episode where I found out that Nancy Cartwright has just been saving every single script that she's ever had. It's like, which is so cool. And then the last note I have in here is, goes, we've got not one, but 2 mentions of jokes being cut due to the Soviet Union breaking up. It's just...
Fuck.
Again, just wild.
That is the funniest thing, too, because you would not expect that to be... you're not expecting it to break up. You're like, that's going to be on for a while. So you're making jokes like, broke up. Like, this isn't a person dying, which can just happen. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Oh my god. And that's like... That's all the episodes. I took a peek into the special features, not too far. I mainly just looked at what was on the 4th disc, which was mainly just Butterfingers ads. And I was like, "There's more. I've never seen these ones before."
Yeah, I didn't like the DVD menu for this one. It felt really weird, and I was like, "Wait, is this because it's a updated copy to the original version?" No, that's just how the menu
exactly
was.
The same.
Kind of shit.
Yeah,
and it's weird because
really slow.
But I remember the menus for all of the seasons. I guess except for season 3. So I guess I didn't watch this one on DVD that often. But honestly, I think this might be the best season so far.
Oh yeah,
like season 2 has some great episodes that I love and adore, but I think, and this is the thing we'll find with The Simpsons, it's going to get better and better, and then it's going to get worse and worse, and then it's going to get alright. Then we'll coast on alright for like 10 for 15 seasons.
It's a little roller coaster that we're going to be going on.
Yeah.
For the moment, at least, like we know that there's still good stuff coming along.
But even then, we know there's good stuff coming forever. We just got a lot of shit to go through because apparently season 32 and 33 have kind of been good.
Apparently, yeah.
You know, and I saw like Corey put on like the most recent Treehouse of Horror, and I was like, huh, this is a really in-depth parody about NFTs and why they suck. That's the plot of that episode is someone built a machine to take physical objects and make them NFTs, and Bart gets stuck in the machine and becomes an NFT. He's the first human person to be an NFT. And then Marge, who the voice actor's been doing it for so long, you can tell. Like, like, buddy, you fucking A. But I respect, and keep going. Go Queen. But like, like Marge being like, I'm going in. I'm gonna save my boy, and going into the thing.
Wild.
It's wild, but it's kind of good. It's like I was sitting there being like, this is very well done, and is kind of actually funny. Crazy.
Nice.
And then they did another. They did like it's not quite a Silence of the Lambs parody, but kind of one of those. And it freaked me out a little bit because it's one of those. That's Treehouse of Horrors kind of did that with me anyway. Because they do things like, what if we did this thing, but it's fucked? And I'm like, yeah, that is fucked. But they, for the beginning of the episode, they replicate the Cape Fear episode. Like, because the premise of it's like, what if Sideshow Bob killed Bart in that episode?
Oh shit!
And then we follow like Lisa as a detective in like 20 years.
Wait, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, but they replicate that animation perfectly, and you can tell it's digital, but you can tell it's done spot on, like too accurately.
Holy shit.
And it is like it's like that was the first note of like, this is freaky. Yeah, what the fuck? Because
that sounds really cool.
And like when it cuts from 4:3 to 16:9, like it's really well done. Like Simpsons is maybe good again. I don't know. There's a great Super Eyepatch Wolf video talking about it. It's real interesting. You should go watch that.
I've been hearing enough talk about like the much newer episodes to the point where like I probably should check out some of the newer stuff. Honestly,
I do recommend that video though. It's very. I'm gonna have to write notes. I've had to start writing notes of like what type of like links I'm gonna have to put in. Go watch the stuff we put in. It's great. But yeah. To end us off quickly, so we don't have to be here for 2 hours. On that note, I've been Cara.
I've been Damon.
And thank you for listening to us chat about Season 3 of The Simpsons. We'll see you next month, hopefully. Okay. We're gonna get started. We're gonna get watching Season 4. Fuck.